Hello viewers of the South Asian Insider YouTube channel and Josh India TV and Punjabi Dunya. I'm your host Sharanjit Singh Thind. Today we are here with one of the wonderful personalities, one-on-one with Supervisor Kate Murray. She has been a wonderful friend of the South Asian community. She has, in her career, she has wore so many hats, and all of them have been illustrative careers. Kate Murray has been first New York State woman assemblywoman from the New York State. She has been the first Assistant Attorney General from New York City, first woman Attorney General, and then for the last 12 years she has been supervisor for Town of Hempstead, which is one of the largest townships in the United States, much larger than or equal to almost 4 states. And now our friend, she is the candidate for Nassau County District Attorney. Welcome, Supervisor.
Well, thank you so much, Sonny. Delighted to be here.
Thank you. You're welcome to be here. Today, we are here to ask Supervisor about her vision, how she intends to pursue some of the actions, some of her ideas for the South Asian community and community in large in Nassau County. And we will begin with her plan for a couple of things, her vision. First of all, I would like to ask why you've been supervisor for the last 12 years, and you have done some wonderful work in the town of Hempstead, one of the biggest towns. So now you're running for district attorney. Why?
Well, you know, I have been in public service for 17 years. Again, first as an assistant attorney general, then as a New York State assemblywoman. And as an assemblywoman, I was on the codes committee, which considers all criminal legislation. So I was very proud to support a ban on assault weapons. I was proud to support Megan's Law, which protects children from predators. And then, of course, I got an opportunity to then run for Hempstead Town Clerk, became the first woman ever to be Hempstead Town Clerk. And then 1 year later, I got the opportunity to run for Supervisor of America's largest township. It's actually the largest.
Yes, the largest.
Yes, and I became the first woman ever in almost 400 years to be the Supervisor of America's largest township. And I have absolutely loved each and every one of my jobs, Sonny. So I've been very, very fortunate not many people can say that every job they've had in their life they've loved. Definitely. But I am one of those very rare people that can say that. But as I saw the effects of the laws that I created as a state legislator, I saw the effects when I was a supervisor. And of course, as an assistant attorney general, I protected residents and went to court all the time on behalf of different people. And so I think it's a natural progression that now I want to be the chief law enforcement officer of Nassau County to serve the residents of Nassau County in yet another way. I see a lot of things happening in Nassau County that I believe have to be corrected on behalf of the residents. And so it was with that passion, that challenge to fix the district attorney's office, to make it better, to make it more responsive to its citizens, that I decided to run for district attorney.
That is wonderful. And I think while introducing you, there was one thing I might have forgotten, and you have mentioned. You were also the first town clerk, a woman town clerk in Town of Hempstead as well.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So all 3 of my elected positions, I was the first woman to hold that position, which I'm very proud of. So
with so many accomplishments which you have already done in Town of Hempstead, so now you have decided to come to the county and to bring your vision of a wonderful governance which you have bring into the town, and it's same vision in the county as well, in the law enforcement.
Yes.
My first question, which goes, I think it's close to my heart, because I'm basically from the South Asian community. I'm a South Asian. Discrimination. It's happening a lot in all over the world, happening in United States as well. But we live in Nassau County, and which is a wonderful county, and it's not happening as much as it might be happening in other parts of the United States. Discrimination in South Asians, we have a Muslim community, we have Hindu community, we have Sikh community, and a lot of times identities are mistaken or mixed. A Sikh could be could be thought of as a Muslim candidate, Muslim worshipper. My whole idea is like no one should be discriminated.
Absolutely.
So what is your vision
Yes.
when you, as a Nassau County District Attorney, when
Yes.
you are elected? What do you intend to do?
Absolutely, Sonny, that's a great question. And people don't even have to accept my promises or my pledge to fight discrimination. I've been doing that as Supervisor of America's largest township. There are 3 towns, of course, that make up Nassau County. The town of Hempstead is by far the largest and by far the most diverse. And it is that diversity that I think makes the town of Hempstead so strong. And we celebrate all different cultural backgrounds in the town of Hempstead. And as a leader, you have to set a tone for your employees, for everybody who is representing your town government. Yes. And all the 2,000 employees whom I direct each and every day, they all know exactly what's on my mind and how I want them to treat the public. So, it might seem like a small thing, but for the recent immigrant to walk through the doors of Hempstead Town Hall, I want them to feel as respected, as comfortable, and as readily serviced as the person who has been here for 200 years. Sure. That's my number one priority. That's my number one goal, to make sure that everybody feels that they are being fairly treated, that they are being justly served. And to that end, we're the first government on Long Island to have an Indian Independence Day celebration, first government. Yes. And of course, recently we raised the flag of Pakistan. We raised the flag throughout the year of different countries representing different cultural groups within the town of Hempstead. And I'm proud of that because I think that sends a message to all of our citizens that every single group, whether you're here 30 days or 300 years, yes, you're equally respected. What I also did, I think an important message to send to the different communities is in your hiring practices. Definitely. And so I'm proud to say that we hired the first Sikh, a gentleman, a wonderful, wonderful man. He works in our Parks and Recreation Department. He's in one of our local parks. He very proudly wears his turban each day, of course, as an observant Sikh. And we are proud to have him part of our staff. We also have a number of young women who wear the hijab, yes, to express their religious identity. And I have to tell you, we are proud to have them on staff. We think it's totally appropriate for them to be expressing their individuality within our employee ranks. And we hope that with the diversity of our employees, that recent immigrants, new immigrants who come through our doors, if they happen to see someone who may look like them or who may wear an adornment like they do, that they might feel more comfortable coming into Town Hall. That's what we seek with our diversity in our employee ranks. The District Attorney's office can use some help there. It isn't very diverse. Sure. And I would like to work as hard as I can to make the District Attorney's office represent the residents of Nassau County.
Okay. So if I take it from your answer, like the diversity in hiring, mm-hmm, among the 3 towns in Nassau County, Town of Oyster Bay, Town of North Hempstead, and Town of Hempstead, it has been pretty close to your heart. Mm-hmm. And as you said, you hired the first. I actually happen to know the gentleman, and he's a wonderful person.
He is.
Yes, and so as per your thing, like the same thing what you did in Town of Hempstead, you intend to take it to the Nassau County as well. Yes. And another thing is, like, as long as the resident is law abiding, and if it's a new resident or, as you said, 30 days or 300 years, as long as you're law abiding, you can expect to be treated fairly and in the similar way.
Absolutely. Everybody, that is the American dream. That's what everyone should be able to expect. Sure. Here in America: equal justice, equal access, equal fairness for all. That's what I live out as Supervisor of America's largest township, and that's certainly how I intend to act and enforce the laws as Nassau County District Attorney.
Wonderful. So your message, like which for our viewers, it could be like Nassau, as when you are elected district attorney. Yeah, nothing like no kind of discrimination will be tolerated in Nassau
Absolutely
County.
not.
And
No
will be a strong message.
Absolutely. I can't say that more strongly, Sonny. I live an anti-discrimination life each and every day.
Sure.
As CEO of America's largest township, I expect everybody in the town government to act the same exact way. And of course, as Nassau County's Chief Law Enforcement Officer, I will absolutely have a zero tolerance for any discrimination against any of our residents. I will be a fierce advocate for anybody who is feeling that they are discriminated against, that they are being unfairly treated. And I hope that everybody in Nassau County feels that they have in their district attorney and me a real advocate.
So the message for our viewers is, like, if you have any concern about, like, once Kate is elected district, when she is elected district attorney, you can be rest assured you could be South Asian from any country in the world, but you are welcome in Nassau County, and there will not be any kind of discrimination will be tolerated. You might hear some scattered stories. United States is a wonderful country to live in. New York State is a great state to live in. But Nassau County, under Kate's leadership, under Kate's once she is elected DA, there won't be any kind of discrimination tolerated. And of course, she also intends to take her hiring practices, like bringing diversity, what she brought in the town of Hempstead. She intends to take the same practice and same thing which is close to her heart, and to Nassau County as well.
Absolutely.
That brings me to my next topic. You have been an administrator so far. You have wonderfully abled and steered the town of Hempstead financially,
yes,
and on many other fronts.
Mm-hmm.
And now you are going to, once you are elected, when you are elected, you are going to head Nassau County, which is one of America's wealthiest counties, and you will be basically administrator of that office. You'll have
Yes.
many prosecutors under you.
Exactly.
What is your vision to ably take that office, and how you intend to administer that office so that you have different prosecutors under you with different law enforcement problems, crime problems, and other problems? What is your vision?
Well, number one, the role of the district attorney is to be the visionary, the captain of the ship, the administrator. And as every CEO knows, they have to put good people around them. If you have a good staff, you're going to be very successful. I intend to create a very, very good staff around me so that we can protect the residents of Nassau County to the best of our ability. There are some issues that I think absolutely need attention that are not getting attention now with the acting district attorney. Number one, there is a very, very serious drug abuse issue here in Nassau County. The rise of the use of heroin is a real scourge and it's in many, many very, very lovely, very solid middle-class communities are being really hit very hard, yes, with the heroin problem. And so I have a 3-point plan for the heroin scenario here in Nassau County. Number one, education. I'm always about educating our young people, no matter what the issue is, to getting into the schools, teaching our young children the dangers of drug abuse. So that's the first prong. The second prong is to provide and get treatment for those people who are caught in the addiction, the cycle of addiction. Yes. They're not criminals, they're not being violent, but they are caught in the whole scourge of addiction, to try to get treatment resources for those people. And last but certainly not least, to be very, very hard on the drug dealers themselves. Yes. There is something called diversion court in Nassau County, and it's in many counties. And that is the place where, say, the person who got addicted and then does something not violent but gets caught up in the system. Now, they're not necessarily a career criminal. Definitely. The biggest thing is they need treatment. And so there's this diversion court. That might be the person who is eligible or should be appropriate for diversion court, not for the drug dealers. And sadly enough, today, many drug dealers are being put into the diversion court and they're getting slaps on the wrist. And so they're turning around, getting back out on the street and plying their trade again and hurting more and more people. As district attorney, the drug dealers will not get an opportunity to get just a slap on the wrist. They will get hard time under me, because we have to stop the scourge. We have to stop the drug dealers, and they have to know that if they deal drugs in Nassau County, they're going to face long prison sentences. That will happen under me as district attorney. Another area, domestic violence. This is an area that absolutely needs greater attention here in Nassau County. I was an advocate for victims of domestic violence myself, so I know the issue. I know how sensitive and complex it is. And I also know that in different cultural communities, there are different things that need to be done.
Yes.
You know, this is not a cookie cutter kind of problem, so that in one community, one tool might be effective, but in another community it'd be different.
It's not one size fits all.
Exactly. So I'm proposing that as district attorney, I'm going to create a domestic violence task force. But on the task force, it's not just going to be a lot of people sitting around and talking about it. What I want to do is have representatives from many different communities, a South Asian community, for example, then differences within the South Asian community, African American, Hispanic, etc. So that people on the task force can bring different sensitivities and cultural differences that might affect their community more and might be more effective for their community in our fight against domestic violence. So that's something I'm going to do. Another thing, in Nassau County, there is no elder abuse crime unit, and we have a significant number of senior citizens living in Nassau County. They have particular needs, they have particular vulnerabilities, and they are targets of scammers, of different kinds of thieves who prey upon them, many of whom live by themselves perhaps, or a little more vulnerable. There are elder abuse units in Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens, but there is no unit in Nassau County. I will create a unit specifically for our older citizens. They deserve an extra bit of sensitivity, and it's a different kind of crime victim to deal with. And so I will be creating a bureau just for our senior citizens. Yes, exactly. So those are a few of my priorities
in office
as district attorney.
Actually, the one you just mentioned about the senior citizens abuse, that is a topic pretty close to my heart as well. Like, what is happening is a lot of time our community doesn't know. A lot of people, they bring in their elderly parents from India as well.
Right.
This is not what you which is happening in with non-immigrants.
Yes.
So they are bringing their parents here, mom and dad, and then their mom is practically serving as a babysitter at home for the kids while the kids go to earn outside. And the dad is, like, a lot of time I see it in, I haven't seen it in Nassau County, but the more immigration we see from Queens, I am definitely sure we're going to see that kind of problem here as well, where an elderly father come to US with his wife and stays with the kids.
Yes.
So mom works as a babysitter and father goes out, and outside sometimes they are distributing newspapers, sometimes they are filling gas stations in gas. Nothing wrong with that, earning their livelihood, but a lot of time the kids, they also take their earnings and they do not give them back. I have seen some of those cases personally as well. I would love to see your office, once you are elected, when you're elected, involved in that as well. And you have just elaborated, like, you want to put in a task force, and of course we will have representatives from South Asian community as well.
Exactly.
We would love to interact with those South Asian representatives, and would like to, from the media side, we would like to tell them more, like, what is happening.
Exactly. And so it's those unique kinds of problems that might be facing senior citizens who are a little more vulnerable. They might not know who to turn to.
Yes.
And especially in that scenario where they're recent immigrants, they might not even have
know
the language skills, English, and so they must feel, very, very trapped. it's for those reasons and for financial crimes against elderly that an elder crimes unit, I think, is absolutely necessary here.
Absolutely. I would actually, we have our co-host Simi. I would have her share some of the same thing as well, this elderly abuse. She's going to ask you a couple of more questions. But before we conclude, I have one last question for you. What is your vision for Nassau County, where, if you can summarize in as many words, what is your vision for Nassau County where minorities can feel safer?
Yes.
We already discussed that, but in a nutshell, like before I invite my co-host to come in here. So your vision for Nassau County where minorities can feel safer and they feel belong to in this county.
Yes, well, for the past 17 years I have been a public servant. I have tried and worked each and every day to make sure that every citizen who deals with the town of Hempstead feels respected, is free of discrimination, and receives the absolute same services as everybody else. Sure. And so that has been a main goal of mine as town supervisor, as town clerk. And I will work day in and day out as district attorney. And as a chief law enforcement officer, I have the law behind me now as DA to make sure that no one gets away with discriminating against any citizen. Again, whether the citizen has been here for 30 days or for 300 years, and I'm very serious about that. And so I hope that every citizen in Nassau County knows that they are living in a community, in a county that they are respected, where they are prized for their contributions to our community, and where they will feel safe in their neighborhoods, in their homes, and in their schools, and in their places of employment. That's the goal that I have as district attorney. And for any minority citizen, I hope they know that my door will be open. I will be their advocate, and I will have an open ear and an open heart to their feelings and to their experiences. I want to make sure that everybody's experience in Nassau County is a good one.
A pleasant one.
Yes, exactly, is a fair one, a just one. Everybody deserves to have a piece of the American dream. That's what we all came to America for, and I want that dream to be realized by every citizen in Nassau County.
That's wonderful. That concludes our segment, friends, viewers. We have been with Kate Murray, Supervisor, Town of Hempstead, and a candidate for Nassau County District Attorney, who shared with us her wonderful views as to what change she want to bring in and what is her vision once she elected to the Nassau County District Attorney's office. I'll invite my co-host Simi to ask further questions. It's been a pleasure.
Good evening, viewers. This is Simi Arora with South Asian Insider. As we know that we are interviewing Kate Murray, who is Supervisor, Town of Hempstead, and elected District Attorney. Ms. Kate, it's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you, Simi. Delighted to be here.
And we've seen that Sonny has asked you a lot of questions about your visions about Nassau County and what are the changes that you're looking to make. Right. I am very inspired with all your answers and the way you have led your life so far. And I want to know more about the motivation behind it, because you are such an inspiration to young women like myself and many others who are probably want to progress and follow your footsteps. So what was your inspiration?
Well, I have to say, I grew up in a family. I was one of 7 brothers and sisters. I'm number 6 in my family. And my mother and father, they were very, very concerned and motivated for, especially the girls in my family. There were 4 of us. There's 4 girls, 3 boys, and they were always very, very supportive of us in pursuing our education. They were very, very strict with us that we had to pursue as much education as we possibly could. We're all attorneys, and in my family, my sisters. And they were very, very much wedded to the idea that women have to be as educated as they possibly can be, so that they could take care of themselves if they have to. In this world, it's a man's world. We know that, but my parents were very concerned that we would be able to take care of ourselves, and so we all ended up going to law school. and they were very, very supportive of that. It was a big loving family, and both my parents were very involved in our community. In everything from our church to school board, the Board of Education, to youth sports, etc. Everything you could think of, they were involved. And so they taught us the idea that to be good citizens, we had to be involved and we had to be giving back to our community. And so I have to say, and I've said it many times, my role models were my parents. And I'm so proud of them, and so you strive hard to make your parents proud, and I know so many people do that, and I'm certainly one of them. And so they were really my role models growing up, and so I knew from an early age that I wanted to get into public service. I wanted to give back to our community and to the greater community, and so I was able to really realize my dream by entering into public service. I've been in public service for 17 years now, in various positions, right? And I'm proud to say I was the first woman in all three of my positions.
That's such a huge inspiration.
Well, if it is, that's great. That's great. I think hard work. Being ethical, having a great sense of integrity. I think those are things that people should look up to. Those are things that I strive to achieve each and every day. And in my position as town supervisor, I've had a real opportunity to be able to help other people too. This is the land of America. This is where immigrants get opportunities to pursue the American dream. And as supervisor, I've been able to help emerging communities like the South Asian community, members of the South Asian community, to realize their dreams of public service as well. And so, we're very proud to have hired the first Sikh American gentleman in town history. We have a number of women walking around with hijabs, and we're very happy.
Yeah,
I'm very happy to see.
This is a big change.
Yes, I'm very happy to see a very diverse employee list, because that's what our communities are.
Absolutely. That's
and
what
our
we
employees
represent.
should reflect exactly the communities that we serve. And so as a public servant, I've had the ability, the very unique ability, to try to change people's hearts, to try to represent different diverse communities within our employee base. And I look forward to doing that as district attorney as well.
That's wonderful. It's great that you express some of the qualities, that you really have to focus on to be getting there where you want to be.
Yes.
And my next question leads to your answer. As you mentioned that you had a great family and a lot of support.
Yes.
And you had that, internal inspiration and desire to fulfill your parents' dreams. We have seen in some situations when girls do not have supportive parents.
Right.
And they are willing to do something, especially in the South Asian communities. We do find those conservative attitudes. So is there any vision you have for those women who are willing to work hard, but they have some sort of inhibitions from their family, and they can probably make a stand and reach out to some of the community centers and figure out if they can do something more about with life?
Right. Well, I say here in America, everybody should everybody should get an excellent education. There's no reason to think that anybody should be kept back from pursuing educational goals, and I think education is the basis for so much success that we enjoy in life. And so I would encourage all of our young women, young men, everybody to get as educated as you possibly can, because that really is going to give you the opportunities. It'll really open the doors for you here in America to pursue your dreams, whatever they may be. So I would just encourage, as I do all the time by visiting schools. I do that constantly, and I love it. But I love interacting with our young people. And if I'm an example for them, or if I'm if I represent a possibility to them, that's great. I think children should be exposed to all different types of people. They should be exposed to all different types of jobs, possibilities, opportunities, because then as they grow along in their education, they could start forming their own dreams, their own ideas of what they want to do when they grow up. And so I would just encourage every young girl especially to pursue their education, work very, very diligently. And I know so many, there's so many professionals in the South Asian community. I know I'm speaking to the choir. And I know great little statistic. The Indian population in America represents 1% of the overall population, but 9% of the doctors, the physicians. And so obviously education is prized in the South Asian community very highly, and that's really the key to success.
Absolutely. So viewers, you're seeing that Kate is encouraging a lot on emphasizing a lot on the women education, and the women out there who are willing to do hard work, who want to reach the heights, they can really focus and look forward to Kate's words and follow their heart, and I'm sure they're going to be achieving success in life. And this leads to my last question to you, which is your overall vision about Nassau County and the goals that you feel that you want to achieve and the time period attached to it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think Nassau County is an absolutely beautiful place to live, to work, to raise a family. But we have some problems, and that's why I'm running for district attorney. Not only are there some criminal issues that have arisen, I spoke earlier with Sonny about them, but also we are a rapidly changing population. Here in Nassau County, it's becoming more and more diverse, and with that diversity there are new issues that emerge. And I just want to make sure that every resident, every new citizen, every old citizen in Nassau County feels that in their district attorney and me, that they have a champion, that they have someone who's going to be looking out for their personal rights, for their rights as a community each and every day. Discrimination has no place in my office. I have a zero tolerance for it, and I want to make sure that the district attorney's office, as district attorney, that everybody feels that I am their advocate, I am their cheerleader, and that I will be there ensuring that their personal rights are upheld each and every day.
That's awesome. So here's the cheerleader, the discrimination tolerant, Miss Kate Murray, and we really urge everybody to just move forward, stand up, get out of their houses, and go and vote for Miss Kate Murray. Thank you so much, viewers.
Supervisor, that brings us to the conclusion of this show. I would like to request you to tell our viewers, South Asian viewers, why they should go out and vote for you. You have shared your wonderful vision with us. You have shared your plans for the Nassau County with us. Why South Asian voters should go out there and vote for you?
Well, thank you, Sonny, and thank you for your time, Simi, as well. I appreciate your time today. But to all of my friends in the South Asian community, I just want to make sure that you know that as a candidate for the district attorney, I have more executive experience than anybody else in this race. I have a real vision for the district attorney's office, not only on fighting crime and keeping us safe in our homes, but also fighting discrimination, fighting injustice, and fighting unfairness, especially for those of us in the minority communities. And so as a friend of the South Asian community, I have demonstrated my support by hiring Sikhs and by hiring women who wear their religious headdress at work. Because the bottom line is I want to make sure that everybody in Nassau County knows that every citizen is respected, every citizen deserves equal treatment, and I want to make sure that the staffing in government, in Nassau government and in the Town of Hempstead government reflects the great diversity that is Nassau County. I want everyone to know that they have a friend in me and that I will fight discrimination and injustice each and every day on behalf of all of you, the residents of Nassau County. And so I ask for your vote, I ask for your support, and in turn I will support you.
This brings us to the conclusion of our show, One-on-One with Kate Murray, Supervisor Kate Murray. It's been a pleasure with you. Keep watching the South Asian Insider Show. Thank you.